Before this video begins, I'd like to give a huge thanks to my channel members, who you can see on screen now. Become a member by hitting the join button and get your name here among other awards today. Hello there and welcome back to some more Forza Horizon 3. Today we're continuing on Let's Play. This is episode 10. In today's episode, well, since you've been gone, quite a lot has happened. I've gone round, I've collected all of the billboards, which includes the XP boards, the fast travel boards, etc, etc. So now we've got all of those, which means we're a lot higher level than we were in the previous episode. I think it was around level 15 or 16, and now we're level 46. So that means before we do anything today, we do have a lot of wheel spins to get through, as well as a lot of skill points to spend. So we'll do the skill points first. What do I fancy getting? To be honest with you, that doesn't matter. Fast travel anywhere would be quite a nice thing to get. So I'm going to go for the permanent 10% finish XP thing, and we can do pretty much nothing else there. And as for the instant skill awards, I will go ahead and get a few of these for some extra money and some extra wheel spins as well. So we'll go ahead and grab that one on that side. Grab this one on this side, and oh, it's gonna put us into the wheel spin thing automatically. Okay, was not expecting it to do that. 50 grand. Okay, cool. That would have been nice if it was a VIP wheel spin, which it isn't. We will also get the other 20,000 XP, and apparently we have one more point to spend, and there's not really much to spend it on. Right. These wheel spins, let's get these out of the way. I might include a little timestamp if you want to skip through this, or you can find it yourself. Ooh, okay, hello. I will definitely take a 430 scudder here. I have got an idea of what we're driving today, by the way, so I'm sort of ignoring most of this. This is mostly just for money and points and so on and so forth. Get this all out of the way. A tasty 100,000 credits, that is all good. So yeah, the sort of billboards and stuff, I do recommend getting them as quick as possible, because it does basically give you a very, very nice early advantage of the game. You can also learn the map and so on, which is very nice as well. In case you are wondering, I used a Subaru WRX rally car. It's not one that I bought on camera, it's one that I got through the DLC list. I was sort of looking for cars that I could do an exploration, there we go, I can't speak, an exploration with, and that one popped up. So I thought that would be quite a cool car to go. Ooh, okay, never mind, we might be driving that.
$500,000 credits worth of car you just won, right? Oh, sure, you knew that. You're just playing it cool.
Yeah, I think we might be using that Aston Martin, actually. I did have a plan of what we was going to use this episode, but we might actually push that onto the next episode. We're also going to get a Delta, which is a very cool car. Of course, last time round we did use a Toyota Sleeker GT4 rally car, so we won't use the Delta again for a little while. But it is quite a cool car. There is 100 grand popping up in here, which usually means, yeah, whenever you see 100,000 credits...
Looks like it pays to be lucky as well as fast. Nice spin, boss.
Yes. Whenever you see 100,000 credits pop up in the wheel spin menu, it basically guarantees that you are going to get that amount of money. I'm not quite sure why it works like that. I think... I seriously do not recall a time when it has not done that for me, but there you go. Ooh, Toyota Supra Horizon Edition. This one's actually quite an interesting car. It does have some relatively unique aspects that make it different to the normal Supra. If I can get that, that might be a cool car to use at some point, just again because it has so many weird and unique quirks that are exclusive to the Horizon Edition, not on the standard Supra that you can buy from the game. We are doing pretty darn well here. We're certainly getting through these, which is nice. The Holden Tirana Horizon Edition. I remember this car.
We have a winner! Horizon Editions don't exist anywhere else on Earth. They're custom built for the festival, and you'll earn bonuses whenever you're behind the wheel.
Yes, I remember when that car first came out in Forza Motorsport 7, it was long before they did the whole unlocking of the unicorns thing, which I think is a good idea. The Horizon Edition, oh sorry, Forza Editions as they are in that game, I wish they had kept those exclusive, but they decided not to. which is fair enough. And I remember that one because that was a wanker to get. Essentially, you had to beat the bounty hunter of a real-life IndyCar driver who was also used to be a leaderboard driver on Forza Motorsport 2 and 3. And it was essentially impossible. I knew one person that managed to do it, and he very much liked to flex the fact that he had that car. However, his flexing was not too long for this world. I think about 3 or 4 months later it ended up coming in and it was pretty easy to obtain. And of course ever since then the Forza editions in Motorsport 7 sort of got easier and easier and more common, as they do during the release of a game. You know, eventually the cars that we all dream about getting that are rare, they sort of become commonplace. Stuff like in Horizon 4, you know, people used to rave on about getting Crown Victorias and Fox Body Mustangs, but now they're pretty much like very, very common. The only one that really hasn't managed to stay common is the WRX 2004. That one has actually managed to remain relatively lucid, which is interesting considering that is probably the car which most people would want to gun for. Probably that and the 04 Civic, considering those cars have a very, very deep root in the whole JDM culture. That's cool, that's a unique car to this game. And we are out of wheel spins. Apparently we have one more progress point to spend, which we did have before, and I couldn't find anything to spend it on, so there we go. Anyways, that Aston Martin is awfully tempting. Do I want to use that this episode or next episode, though? I'm thinking this episode we should use our lovely 2012 V12 Zagato. Again, saves me some money. Unique car to this game. I have taken a list of all of the unique cars to Horizon 3 that don't appear in Horizon 4. And I think for the majority of this LP, I'm sort of going to be focusing on using a lot of cars from that list. Obviously, I will try to mix it up from time to time. But in general, I think that's the way I'm going to play this. The V12 Zagato, a car I'm not a huge fan of. Zagato's styling in general, it is definitely subjective, to say the least, when it comes to what they do. A lot of people... That's interesting, I assume that's from a GTA game. Excuse me. A lot of their styling is very subjective. You either love it or you hate it. Cars like the Alfa Romeo SZ come to mind. That is an extremely... I think it's an awesome looking car. A lot of people will tell you it's absolutely hideous because of its whole sort of square-faced styling. I really like it though, and yeah, you know, stuff like that. And again, it even extends to the Aston Martins. I'm personally of the belief that Aston Martin do a pretty darn good of styling cars on their own, or at least they used to. And Zagato, I'm not a huge fan of what they do to cars. Stuff like the Zagato Vanquish, I think, is a much inferior version of the standard. Ooh, okay, that's an interesting design. Was not expecting that. Kind of looking for a race livery. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get one or not, though. I will give it about 5 more slides through this, and if I don't find what I'm looking for, then I will give up and we'll just paint the car a factory colour and go on our way. I have an idea in mind of what I want. I wonder if I can search for it. See if that'll come up. No. I think this car was at Le Mans at some point. I want to say it was. I'm not... Okay, it was. Not a huge fan of that, though. And none of these look good. Okay, we'll just paint the car a factory colour and get on with it. And I will go for this blue, because I like this blue quite a lot. If I remember correctly as well, this car should have some relatively unique visual customization to go along with it as well. So we'll tack that onto it as well. Of course, in terms of actual performance, I believe this is our fastest car yet. Standard 6-litre V12, 510 horsepower, I believe it is in these. So, yeah, it's hardly slow. Am I right about the unique... No, I'm not actually. Okay, that's a bit of a shame. I remember they had the race prepped version of this car in... Yes, give me the supercharger. They had the race prepped version of this car in Forza 5. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was the Villa de Este or something like that. That was a really cool car. Unfortunately, we never actually saw that one ever again outside of that game, and we sort of got the road car V12 Zagato instead, which in my opinion isn't quite as interesting because it is essentially just a Vantage with a new body on it. Well, as the Villa de Este or whatever it was called. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I think that's what it was. If it's not, then I will accept it on the chin that it is indeed not that. Apparently we can actually get quite a lot out of this car without it going too far up the old PI range, which is nice. S1899, can we get it to S1900? Yes we can, 38,000 credits. And we get 658 horsepower to play with. Okay. So yeah, decent amount of power. Rear-wheel drive, of course. I'm not quite sure what challenges lie ahead of us today, but rear-wheel drive, probably not the best option, but it's what we have got, and I believe we are... It has been about a week or so since I last played this game. I believe we are heading towards opening a new festival. Yes, we are. Okay, so we have got... A few of these are now uncovered because I ended up finding them by accident when I was going around the billboards. I did try to avoid them the best I could, but it didn't really work out too well sometimes. So we've got some stuff over there, some stuff down here. I'm thinking we'll probably go around like this, try and pick up this barn find as well on the way, because I don't know when the next time we're going to be in Byron Bay will be. Alright, let's go. In the Aston Martin V12 Zagato, which is very, very fast. And also very angry looking. It's the one thing with Zagato's designs, which maybe this is the reason I'm not 100% sold on them. They're sort of... They kind of design like the front of the car on the back of the car, which is very strange. The rear ends where you see most of the change when it comes to them. They actually usually leave the front end of cars alone, relatively, anyway. So, racing. Apparently that livery's just on everything, because that was an option for this car as well. This speed zone probably needs something with all-wheel drive over a rear-wheel drive sports coupe, but what you gonna do? Try and use the V12 Vantage in front of us as a bit of leverage. Okay, that doesn't seem like it was too bad, I guess. Yeah, we got a star, hooray. And we've also got a Scrabble event. Alright, let's do it. Or Scramble, I should say. Not Scrabble. A Scrabble event, yes. Let's go make some words and get very angry with family members. I played Scrabble once. Terrible game. Just really very, very boring indeed. But there you go. Alright. That is... I was about to say, there is some very, very poor detailing going on with the Jaguar in front of us, but never mind, the game has sorted that out. The only thing I didn't really like about Aston at this time was they had that weird, sort of the rev counter was backwards. Not a huge fan of that. I can sort of see what they were going for. They were trying to make the speedo and the rev counter sort of meet in a point, but I always was not a huge fan. I wasn't really a huge fan of Aston Martin's interior design in general. I can't think of the last time where I really liked the interior of an Aston Martin, save for maybe something like the DB7, although that was a little bit anonymous, I guess you could say. Also, apparently my driver is in completely the wrong car I would expect him to be in for this. It's the DB11, and I've been quite, what's the word? Open to my dislike of the DB11. I'm not a fan of that car in the slightest. If you ask me, that was sort of the start of the death of Aston Martin. Of course, after that we also got the new Vantage, which was incredibly ugly. It made this car look like an oil painting, in all honesty. And then, of course, the newest car, actually, the DBS Superleggera, stupid name aside, is actually quite a cool car. It really should not be called the Superleggera, because I don't think it's particularly lightweight or anything of that sort. It's also not Italian, so why is it called soup? But, you know, it's a neat car nonetheless. I actually do quite like it. I've also driven it in Horizon 4, and it's been pretty good. I can't wait to see the comment on this video of people who clearly have not watched this video and will then say, why aren't you playing Horizon 4? The answer is because, I don't know, I'm not. That's been a comment I've been receiving quite a bit as of late. Including one guy that I'm yet to reply to, who I'm sort of toying with him a bit, just for my own amusement. He's basically just put, why aren't, oh, Horizon 4 is out, was his comment, which is an incredible comment, to say the least. I then proceeded to sarcastically reply with, seriously, is it? And now he's basically saying, yeah, it's been out over a year. And I'm like, there's literally Horizon 4 videos on this channel. There's like tons of them. I only stopped doing them recently. There's like Silly Car Showdown videos that like go on and on and on for ages. But no, apparently people still... I don't really get that. Like, why are you commenting that? Or why are you playing Horizon 3? It's like... oh, sorry, yeah, why are you playing Horizon 3 and not Horizon 4? It's like, why aren't you watching a Horizon 4 video? Like... what? But no, it's all good fun. I kind of knew I'd get it. I get it every single time I let's play a Horizon game. Because at the end of the day, I do it exactly the same time every year. I've been pretty upfront about this, you know. Every single time it's usually somewhere towards the end or middle to end of the current Horizon game cycle, I will go back and play the old one. Because that's the way my scheduling seems to work out. I don't know if it's going to work out next year because Horizon is a year behind now, or the Forza franchises in general. Because we are skipping a year this year as Microsoft moves to a new console or whatever they're planning on doing next year. Hey, we get to level 49, so I hope you enjoy seeing those wheel spins because you're about to see another one. Lots of good cash prizes in this one, and yes, of course, we're going to end up with 2 grand. I was literally about to say, are we going to end up with 2 grand? And the answer is, yes we are. Alright. We're almost there to open a new festival as well. That's exciting. We'll finally get to go into the Outback, which I'm not hugely looking forward to because I'm not much a fan of the Outback section of this game, but there you go. Alright, what have we got? Anything else that needs exploring around here? We have a new PR stunt over there, so let's go over there. Ooh, legendary barn find rumor.
Admittedly, I hear a lot of funny things about abandoned cars, but this time I heard Datsun, so I'm interested. Go find it for me.
A Datsun? I don't remember a Datsun barn find in this game, so I've got no idea what that'll be. Anyways, we'll go investigate that, I guess. Well, we're gonna go investigate the barn anyway, so I guess we'll investigate the other thing as well. Considering they're in relatively close proximity to each other as well, it's not too far off the beaten track. Speaking of the beaten track, we have a PR stunt up here for a danger sign, which I think we... didn't we do this one? I could have swore we did this one towards the start of the game. Hold on, let's try to actually land the car on its wheels. That will probably help. Apparently my drivatar is watching us or is stuck or something. Come on, please land. Ah, fuck's sake. I hate danger signs. They're always the most irritating one purely because you have to land on the wheels, which the car, it sort of twists and turns in the air and you don't really have much choice over what it's doing. We're going to get another 2 stars, which is cool. Like I've said before, I probably will go back and 3-star these eventually. Actually, the best way to do that would be... I'm not sure if that's a speed. Can we get... yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll go down that road, come back round, and then we will hit the other thing that's there. That made somewhat sense. Are we in the barn find radius? No, that's when we go over to investigate something over there. Alright, cool. It is starting to rain again. Very rainy here in Byron Bay, apparently. Again, I thought Australia was all about lovely, clear weather all the time, but no, apparently rain happens in Australia as well. Who would have known? We aren't going to go any better on that PR zone because it was a pretty naff effort, to say the least. I'm not quite sure what the yellow thing above their head means. I don't know if that's sort of a recruiter team thing, maybe? I don't know. I can't say I'm particularly bothered about the whole team building experience, and if that's to get more money, which it could be actually now I'm thinking about it, I'm, again, not particularly interested. I mean, they are worth about 70 grand if you can knock them off, but that's head-to-head races aren't particularly interesting. Especially not in the case of a LP. I knew it was going to start falling off the road. I think this is a speed zone, so I do actually want to keep relative amounts of speed. And of course there's going to be a car there. Because fucking of course there's going to be a random traffic car. You know. Traffic cars nowhere that actually would bother you until that. And then there's just one. There we go. Not quite as quick as I want to be, but again, I sort of had to play around that Fiat 500 that was coming along in the opposite lane. Okay, so we have got what is almost certainly one of those bucket lists, that's what they're called. I'm trying to remember the name of it there. Gonna have to take the Aston off-roading again. Sorry, Aston Martin. I appreciate this is not quite what you're built for, although apparently there is that Aston Martin SUV, which is going to be a thing, which again, you know, given my disdain with current Aston Martin and how much I think they've ruined themselves, an SUV, it really doesn't surprise me at this point. It's just a bit sad, really. Because Aston Martin used to be one of my... they are one of my favourite all-time car manufacturers. I love some of the stuff they've made. DB7, DB9, the Vanquish, I think they're all terrific cars. In fact, there's lots of terrific Aston Martins, it's just a shame none of their current lineup really is. I mean, again, I like the Superleggera. Would I own one? Maybe, given the chance. But do I love it as much as I loved the Vanquish and the DB7 and so on? No. So, it is what it is. Oh, the DB4 GT Zagato as well, that was a cool car. That was another Zagato car, that was actually quite cool as well. Can we just go across? I feel like if I don't crash into a tree, we can just go across. Oh, there we go. I was going to restart, but actually we can get around it. Just try not to smash into any trees. It's kind of hard to do, considering this car is mahoosive. It is also apparently allowed to do 70 miles an hour in a river, which is pretty insane, considering it's a normal pickup truck. Of course, the F-150 Raptor, the 2017 one with the V6 EcoBoost engine, and not a V8, which makes a lot of people cry. I can sort of... Usually I'd make fun of people for being like, oh, V8, but in this case it actually does make a little bit of sense. But, you know, I haven't heard too many bad things come out of the EcoBoost in these. People seem to get along with it relatively well, those that have the Raptor, so... Hey, we're ready to open a new festival. Isn't that smashing? Well, in the case of the Raptor, yes, because I smashed it into a lot of rocks when I was on my way to finish that one, but yes, it is
Emile,
indeed smashing.
I'm thinking we're not done yet. I have one more festival site in mind. There's more than enough fans to go around. Horizon Australia needs to sample as much Australia as possible, right?
Indeed, let's do it.
Check out our new festival location when you're ready. No rush. This is Australia. The outback isn't going anywhere. The outback. Natural habitat of kangaroos and reptiles, and all-wheel drive.
Indeed, Subarus.
Turn around.
Right, we are not going to be going there, we'll go there in the next episode, but right now what we've got to do is... just trying to think, let's circle over here. We'll do that bucket list.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
Again, this is one of those where I am slightly concerned sometimes that I'm going to unlock sort of a festival expansion before I've even unlocked a new part of the festival. I can see that happening eventually. Also, I just... Oh, Jesus Christ. I just realised something. You're about to see your favourite screen in the world again. There we go. Please reconnect controller. Because I just realised the vibration just died on these batteries. So, I'm going to do the old Xbox One controller trick. I don't know if it's an actual trick or not, it's just something I do. Whenever the controller stops vibrating, which it does to preserve the batteries, I believe, because Rumble must take up quite a lot of battery support. I kind of need it, especially in a racing game, to figure out what the car's doing. I didn't used to as a kid, but these days I sort of rely on it relatively heavily. And as a result, whenever that sort of happens, I just disconnect the battery, put it back in, and then you usually get about 30 minutes, 45 minutes of extra rumble. Again, if you're looking to preserve batteries, then I wouldn't particularly recommend it, but I'm not looking to preserve batteries because I have like a pack of them in front of me. I just don't want to switch out the batteries while we're recording this. I'll do it in the interim, I guess. Or maybe not. Apparently the batteries have died again. Hello, Subaru. Let's drive you. Get muddy at 80 miles an hour. That's a very specific speed to do in the Subaru WRX 2015. It's blue because it's a WRX. I do like the 2015 WRX actually. The Black Rebel Motorcycle Club's in this game? Huh. Isn't that, Zach Wild's band? I think it is. No, or is that Black Label Society? I don't know. It's something. I haven't got a stream here to back me up. I'm just speaking to myself, because that's the way I roll, apparently, now.
Turn right.
I would stream, but the internet's being a bit dicky at the moment. I don't think it can quite decide what it wants to do and what it doesn't want to do.
Turn left.
So apparently we're going to get 80 miles an hour through this speed zone. It probably would have made more sense coming from that way, but never mind, we'll deal with the hand we've been dealt. Hopefully I can get enough speed up through here. There we go. 80.28 miles an hour, I think I'd sort of flash up at the end there, so yeah, we did quite well, to say the least. And 120,000 fans, hooray. Let's see if I can do it before the loading screen comes back up. I don't think I'll be able to, but give it a go. Almost. And there we go. Right, let's find this barn while we're here, and then we shall go ahead and deal with cross-country. Another particular feature not befitting of an Aston Martin, but there you go. So, I can't remember if this is the legendary barn find the game was trying to tell us about, or if this is the actual... Ah, there it is. Bingo. So, no idea what's going to be in here. Again, always hope for a good car, but could never really be guaranteed with barn find. A lot of the cars in barn find you don't really use. There is one car in particular I'm very excited to get, and I can't wait for, but we'll see. Maybe the R32 as well, actually. Spoiler alert, there's an R32 barn find. But that might be a cool car to use, because, you know, Australia. Come on, climb the hill. Good Aston Martin. Aren't you a good Aston Martin? Right. Cowabunga! Let us see what's inside here.
This is gonna be a good one, I just know it. Oh, boss, we stand in the presence of greatness. The Holden Sandman. See that faded paint? That's the Sea Witch livery. It's not a custom job. Holden had it like that in the brochure.
The shaggin' wagon. Hooray. To be fair, I do really like the Holden Sandman. I think it's a really cool vehicle. Definitely fitted the theme of this game as well, which is nice. So yeah, we've got that. That'll get restored. We'll stick some surfboards on the roof of it and take it surfing, I guess. Probably won't, but you know, it's the thought that counts. We do get some more XP as well. Get XP for pretty much everything at this point, but you know, we're kind of good on the XP front. I think I don't really want to do another 15 million wheel spins just yet. So, all right, this in these cars is going to be interesting to say the least. I also think making this a Rule Britannia event might have been a bad idea because that opens us up to SUVs, which are not going to be particularly fun to go against during this, but you know, we'll see. We might be okay. You never know. The Aston Martin might be really good at off-roading. I don't really know, but Alright, okay, never mind. People have bought slightly more pitiful excuses for off-roading cars than I have. I'm in a Jag. That is very cool. There's Bentleys. There's an F-Pace, which is going to completely destroy everything in its path by the looks of it. There's a Caterham. There's a McLaren F1 GT. That's a very brave choice. Lots of brave choices going on. And then there's a Bentayga out in front, because of course there is. The Bentayga's the one I'm slightly worried about, in all fairness. Although the Lotus 311 as well is apparently a undeniable hit of the off-roading circuit. Maybe that'll be the next... Oh god, there's a Death type as well. Good, good. Bye, sorry Lotus. Oh god, this was a terrible idea by the looks of it. Everything is about to go horrifically wrong for everyone apart from the Bentayga out in front. Gotta try and get to that Bentayga. Because if he runs off, he will just disappear and that'll be the end of that. Need to try... Oh! F1, no. The F1 has died. Rowan Atkinson is no more. He died on a fishing trip in Australia. When he was fishing for Instagram likes by off-road racing his F1. Which went about as well as you'd expect. Don't hit the water too much because the water will slow this car down dramatically. I think that is actually a thing. They sort of adjusted how much your car gets slowed down depending on whether you're in the water. First Horizon game to have the in water thing. I think it's back in. I think it still exists in Horizon 4, although it's not quite to the same degree because obviously England doesn't really have too much in the way of standing water. And then again, neither does Australia, probably. I'm kind of hoping second place will be good enough to wipe this event from the radar. We'll have to see, though. Maybe third place, depending on if that F-Pace gets a little bit too more rambunctious. Yeah, I think I have to finally concede to the F-Pace. It is much quicker than I am. Especially if it gets affected by physics, or if it doesn't get affected by the same physics that apparently are affecting my Aston Martin. This is basically just how many incredibly un-Aston Martin positions can you put your Aston Martin in. Yeah, third place we'll have to do. Hopefully again that will get rid of it from the radar. I'm not too bothered if it does or doesn't, because I count this as done, because it's a Bentayga and an F-Pace versus an Aston Martin. on dirt roads. It's not going to end particularly well now, is it? And we're going to get the Acura RSX, a car which I like a lot, although I'm still very confused by how long it's managed to somehow survive being in Forza. Because that car has been around for a long, long, long old time, shall we say. Okay, it has got rid of it off the map, that's cool. So, I guess we are heading up here, so I don't really want to take that dirt road. Can I just take some... Can I please just stick to normal, nice, paved roads now? We're supposed to be doing the Byron Bay Festival. Byron Bay is supposed to be a nice little small town, which doesn't involve taking dirt roads everywhere. I've also got no idea what this thing is. If it's a speed zone, though, I'd rather obviously be on paved roads for rather obvious reasons, because, you know, dirt roads are kind of not really what an Aston Martin is set up to deal with. Actually, being at that angle, I don't know if it is a speed zone. It might be a drift zone. Watch this be off-road as well. Nope, it isn't. It is a speed camera. Okay, I was not expecting a speed trap, but there you go. We gotta do slightly better than that. That was a piss poor attempt. Let's circle back and quickly have another crack at it. I think I only got like 70 miles an hour through that, which is nowhere near good enough. Again, as much as I'm going to redo these at some point, I do actually want to do a little bit better than that. I don't want to quite bring it that much shame to myself. There we go, an extra 20,000 fans. All good in the hood. Oh, finally, a circuit race. An actual...
You've now set up enough routes to host a championship. Points awarded over multiple races. Most points wins. You know what to do.
I know what to do and ignore it. Wait, this was a new one, right? Yeah, this was new. Okay, just making sure. I don't want to do the championships because they're very, very boring. There we go. I also saw someone made a thing called Fight of the Reliance there, which is very good. Much prop to you, I guess. In case you're wondering, I think the Reliance a barn find. Or can you buy it? It's either a barn find or you can buy it. Either way, yes, there's a Reliant Robin in this game. Or sorry, a Reliant Regal, I should say. I get very irritated when people call it a Robin, so I don't know how I've managed to do that. But yes, no, there's a Reliant Regal Supervan in this game. Many people find it funny and amusing. I did, and then after about 5 minutes it became slightly boring to me, so... I remember this track. This was the track I used to review the NSX when it first came out, I think. Yeah, I sort of am starting to remember driving a Acura NSX around here. It was quite nice. Yeah, the NSX is a very good car, actually, to be fair. I'm a huge fan of the new NSX. It's probably one of the only modern sort of sports supercars that really interests me. You know, not just because it's a Honda. I actually quite like the way it looks. I like the hybrid idea behind it. A lot of people will tell you, oh, NSX is supposed to be this sacred thing, and it's like, it's not really, you know. At the end of the day, the whole point of the old NSX was to be an everyday sort of sports car slash supercar, and the new NSX is an everyday sports car slash supercar. You know, it's a today car. It's not based on technology of yesteryear. You know, it's not a 300 horsepower V6 sports car. It's an actual proper, you know, V6 with some hybrid momenters, which is modern, you know. A lot of people don't really want to accept the whole modern thing. I guess I can be accused of such a thing to an extent. I don't embrace electric power. I still don't see electric cars as our future, and I certainly won't be participating in buying such a car anytime soon, until the infrastructure has picked up. But, you know, in terms of hybrids, especially self-charging hybrids, all for it. It works perfectly because It doesn't involve any cables or fangled electrics or any of that bollocks. It's proper, you know, it's a good idea. It works in today's modern climate. Electric cars are great if you live in about 5 places. So, I'm not a huge fan of the whole electric car craze. Also, I don't want to sound like an old person, but they really don't have too much in the way of a personality or much, you know, interesting thing going on when it comes to electric cars. You know, it's sort of at the stage where they can announce a 2,000 horsepower hypercar, you know, like that Lotus Evoque or whatever it's called. You know, it'll be very quick, it'll be very cool, I'm sure, it'll be great, but it doesn't excite me. There's nothing about it that's particularly interesting. It's like, hey, we built the world's most powerful car, and it's like, yeah, but it's electric. It's like, you haven't really done much engineering tech into it, you've just stuck bigger motors in it. Like, okay, you didn't, like, do the whole Bugatti thing of, like, you know, 14 turbochargers and all the rest of it. You know, there's no cool mechanicalness behind it. It's just, I don't know if I'm explaining this very well. It'll probably sound quite arrogant while I'm explaining it, so, but I don't know, it's just not for me. If it's for you, that's cool. I'm very happy you can find solace in what they're trying to tell us will be the future. Again, I don't quite see it that way, but if you do, cool. Hopefully that goes well for you. You know, there's nothing worse than spending a lot of money on something which turns out to be a bit naff. Hello, Project Cars. Sweeping Forest Sprint. Okay, that sounds like pissing championships. I want to do exhibitions, not championships. I could have swore the game used to work where every time you completed one race, it would then unlock the I can't say it. It would then unlock the championships once you did the exhibition. So I don't quite get why it's sort of, you can do the championship before you do the exhibition race. It's a bit weird. Speaking of weird, oh, actually I do need to get some photos of these cars as well for that glorious, glorious PR money. There we go. So we'll do that, and then turn around, get some of these cars. Coolio. Alright. Gotta keep remembering to do that, because, you know, it's worth money. But yeah, the sky's kind of weird at the moment. This would be cool for a thumbnail, but I don't think I can recreate this. When I actually go ahead and do the thumbnails, it'll probably be at day, much like all the rest of the thumbnails are, so. Anyways, this is a proper sprint race, so I should really be focusing on getting up the pack instead of just trying to outdo them at certain points, as I usually do on a circuit race. There is a lot more urgency to sprint races to sort of try and get yourself towards the front, and also a slight issue of not really being able to correct your mistakes. You sort of have to deal with it in the moment, which is quite hard, I guess. You know, some people enjoy sprint races more. I personally do. I find them slightly less boring than circuit races. Don't get me wrong, I like a good circuit race, but, you know, sort of going around and around and around and around and around, I have to be in the mindset to do it. You know, if it's sort of a thing of where the game forces you to do it, I'm not too much a fan of it. I quite like it when it happens naturally, you know, when I'm hot lapping or something like that. I can lose myself in that, and, you know, you spend half an hour doing laps before you realise what's going on, but in terms of, like, actual sort of circuit racing, that doesn't happen very often. Apparently this is going to lead us towards the bay again, or towards the town. Not quite sure if I wanted that particularly, but I guess we can deal with it. If we have to move back out of town again, we will do. Right. I knew that was coming. Right. A little bit of a sneeze, but managed to stare at the screen long enough to avoid that one. I've cleaned in here today, so Undoubtedly it's the smell of various cleaning things getting up my nose. Dust, I don't know. I've been dusting. There's quite a lot of dust in here, so... A little bit of a tail slide on the way out there. I'm not gonna lie. Slightly phased, but... And the final corner, we are clear of the Vanquish that was behind us, which is good. And across the line, there we go, we can finally get our winning streak back on track after that rather piss-poor performance in the rainforest. Although again, going up against a Bentley Bentayga and an F-Type, probably not the best thing to do. If I had just gone ahead and done it under the Super GT banner though, something else probably would have ran away to the front, Bentley's probably, so... You know, it was sort of a lose-lose situation. Using this car really is, when it comes to off-roading events, it really isn't made for them. Oh hey, of a Horizon edition. I will take that. We've also had a few in terms of prize cars. I don't know if I spoke about that last episode. The game's just sort of randomly gifting me cars here and there. Not quite sure why it's doing it.
It's a sight to see.
Alright, where are we going next? We've got this barn find up here to get. Got a few PR stunts that way. But other than that, we're pretty much almost done. So I'm thinking this barn find, let's go have a quick checkaroo of that. See if we can find it. I believe we're looking for some form of Datsun. I think it said at the front. So, like a Datsun 2000 Roadster, maybe? I think that's in this game. It's an old car. It could be in a barn. I think I do remember that car coming to this game, actually, because I remember it was a bit of a meme when it first came out. A lot of people wanting to put ridiculously big wheels on it for some reason, because I think it could have like 20-inch wheels when it's a very, very tiny little car. It is quite amusing, but, you know. How far will the drone track? Will it track over here? If I do recall, this barn is actually pretty darn easy to find, considering this is all sort of whatever, I guess. Maybe should have moved a bit further forward, but never mind. Okay, the drone does track a lot longer than I expected it to. Try and remember. I say this one's easy to find, but apparently I can't find it. If I remember rightly, it's sort of more towards this area. It's not so much towards the coast. That's not a barn, is it? That's... It's not a barn. I'll show you what a barn looks like. Yeah, this is the one that they added to the game post-launch. Ah, there you go. I believe this is one of the ones they added to the game post-launch. So, yeah, not massively... Well, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not massively hidden because I'm fairly certain the barn wasn't there before. So they had to go ahead and re-add that. I guess we can actually get on the way back. That might be a better idea. So, I'm not going to go out there just yet. We'll sort of grab it after we've done the PR stunts and also this little event over here. So let's go ahead and go and do that. Should all be good fun. Reincarnate. What a name. Nope. No better through the speed zone. I honestly thought we might be, but never mind. We're doing a sprint. Is the sprint going to put us where... The sprint is going to put us way over there. Okay, never mind. We'll do the sprint on the way back, because I don't particularly want to be all the way over there. Ugh, right. Let's go over here and see what these want. So we've got a speed zone in the Byron Plains, apparently. Ugh. Sneezy, sneezy, sneezy. Right. That actually seems to be pretty darn respectable. How well did we do? Oh, 1 star, never mind. I was like, hey, this might actually be quite a quick run considering it's off-road, but no, apparently it really was not. Yeah, there we go. So we've got a festival expansion and a new festival to open. So that's good fun.
Hey, Emile. I have big plans for our next festival
Oh,
expansion.
shut the fuck... I hate it when it does this. I don't want to set a route to it. I'll get to it when I get to it, bitch. Right, there we go. Why do you not understand? I've got stuff to do. I don't want to expand festivals. I want to run and jump and cry and die. I don't know. Alright, there we go. Anyways, we've got ourselves a nice new personal best. That one. Gonna unlock. Maybe we'll unlock the next festival expansion before we unlock the thing for this festival. I don't know. Anyways, what it does mean is when we do get to the Outback, I'm not gonna upgrade the festival immediately. I'm not actually quite sure what the game does when you have both a festival expansion and a new festival unlocked. I'd be kind of curious to see what it does, but it might be... Ooh, actually, that might be an issue. I don't even know if I'll be able to select a car. That might be an issue. We'll see.
Let's see what all the fuss was about. Looks like a Skyline GTR. Looks like this one's been hitting the dirt too hard. The suspension's gone.
Never mind, that's not a Datsun 2000 Roadster, that's the real American. For those of you who don't know about the real American, don't ask. So,
Alright, leave this beast with me. I'll clean her up and report back.
the interesting thing with these barn finds they added in is for whatever reason, and I find this weird because in Horizon 4 they actually do have new voice lines. In this game, they never bothered getting Warren to re-record voice lines, so essentially, you ended up with quite a few conversations that were just sort of put together. So, for example, there's already a Skyline in the game as a barn find, and so, you know, they can say about the Skyline, but they also have stolen the suspension line from another barn find that's in the game, so it leads to some quite weird sort of technicalities going on, shall we say. There we go. Actually, click the car. And also, Angel apparently made an event involving the 996 911 in this, although I am assuming that was probably for some form of Forza Fon or something, I guess. Although the 996 was a Forza Fon car, from what I remember, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe, maybe not. Never mind. Anyways, there's a can't remember the name of that film. Nightmare Before Christmas. There's one of those liveries. I never saw that film. I know my sister was hugely into it. I never quite understood why. It's from that guy who apparently does good films. Can't remember his name either. Let's get around, everybody. There's a SLS, which is quite a cool car. I do like the Mercedes SLS. That is a very, very cool car. Much like Aston Martin, Mercedes sort of quickly ruined the cool streak they was on when they did the AMG sort of retransformation when they had the AMG GT, which was, you know, as much as they say, oh, it's not a replacement for the SLS, it kind of was, and it was not a better car. It sort of looked like a Porsche 928, but not as interesting as a Porsche 928. Although apparently it is the car which is leading the field at the moment. Or rather the GTR version of it, because there is a GTS and the GTR. Can't remember if both of those cars survived into Horizon 4, whether we have both the GTS and the GTR model. I know in 7 they did keep both of them, which is weird because 7 is sort of very pick and choosy when it comes to what sort of, I guess, standard sport versions and then enhanced sports versions it kept. Which is, I always found was kind of strange. So they kept like the Focus R, they kept the Focus RS and killed off the Focus ST, but yeah, we still kept the GTS versus the GTR. Even though technically, I assume the Focus ST is slightly more different to the Focus RS than the AMG GTS is to the GTR. But there we go. Not quite sure why they decided on that one. Although a lot of the decisions that have taken part in Forza over the years has left you scratching your head, I guess. Yeah, there is quite a few examples of that, it's fair to say. We very nearly did not get first place there by the looks of how quick that GT... Yes, there was a GT coming up very, very quickly. But no, our V12 Zagato once again secures a win, which is lovely. Get a bunch of XP on that one apparently, so a bunch of different bits and bobs. Get some more fans, although apparently we got no fans with skill on that one, even though we got XP for skills, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but lo and behold, that's what the game has decided. Alright, I think that is everything as far as this one's concerned. There's a few new championship routes, but no, everything else is spot on as it should be. So, next time round, I guess we will go ahead and... Actually, what we shall do, we'll start in this episode, we'll drive to the Outback. And apparently while we're in the Outback, we'll pick up a lot of barn finds as well. I think that might be a big focus. Get out of my way. That might be a big focus of the episode once we're actually out in the Outback. It might be time to go ahead and start clearing up some barn finds, because we've got loads of them on the map, so that might be an idea. We'll start driving our way out there on this rather rainy day. Of course it's raining. This is the rainforest. Haha. Ooh. I'm not going to hit that any quicker, or did I? I'm not actually sure. It's still showing 1 star there, so... No, 19 more miles an hour for the 2-star. Okay, never mind. There's some of this stuff we might actually do slightly better on, considering we have a better car for it now. Now that we have the Aston Martin instead of... I can't remember what I was using at this point in the game. Probably the... oh god, what was it? The Holden. The FX saloon car. So... probably is slightly worse out here. Alright. Again, we might have issues next time in sort of terms of both opening the festival and also trying not to expand it. So that might be a fun one to get to grips with, but again, I'm very curious to see how the game handles that. I don't know if it will let us expand it straight away, which I don't want to do. I actually kind of want to get through the other parts of the game first, but we'll see. It'll have a way of doing things, I'm sure. They've surely have got to have thought of when people decide to complete everything. If they haven't, then they're a bit stupid. Although I wouldn't put it past them. I know certainly the first time I played this game, I played for it as you would casually, which is basically when the game tells you to go do something, you do it, instead of sticking around and trying to complete everything else like a weird completionist like I am. I mean, it's kind of cool they have matching liveries. I'm just not quite sure what the Ferrari was trying to do. Also, hello, welcome to the airport, because there is an airport in this game. I don't think we've actually been out here yet. I don't think we've been to the Outback in general. We've sort of managed to stay relatively well away from this stuff, but no, it's finally time to open a festival out here and breathe in some of that fresh Australian air. Although that rain cloud over there apparently would say otherwise. And also the motorway, which again, I don't think we've seen that much of. We have been on it though, that much I can confirm. Whee! That was quite cool. Right. And now, in the middle of absolutely nowhere, much like in Yarra Valley, it is time to demolish every single fucking thing around us in the name of automotive destruction. Next episode, we will build ourselves the Outback Festival site, but until then, thank you all very much for watching, and farewell.